Officer William Evans was murdered today, doing his job outside the Capitol building on Capitol grounds. And another officer is in dire condition, apparently. An individual in their vehicle drove into these two men as they were standing in front of a barricade. I assume he crushed them. Afterwards, he got out of the vehicle with a large knife and started charging other officers who shot him dead. And we want to wish Officer Evans' family all the best. Little good it'll do, but we're very proud to support law enforcement on this program, unequivocally. And it's terrible to see something like this. And I wanted to know, who is this suspect? Who is this suspect? Who would do this? On January 6th, no officer was murdered despite the allegations that it was an insurrection and despite the fact that nobody was armed. There was an officer who died, Officer Sitnick. His family says he had a stroke a day or two later. For some reason, our government won't tell us exactly what took place. Be it as it may. But as I sit here today, right now, at 6:10 p.m. Eastern Time, and the breaking news was the officer was attacked and died sometime earlier this afternoon, we're only getting a little bit of information about this suspect, a.k.a. the killer. And there's a website called thepostmillennial.com. It is a superb website. And I check it from time to time. As best as I can tell, they were the first to inform us, and now I see the New York Post, about an hour later, has done the same thing. Yet I watched all three cable channels, and I didn't see any reference to the killer. And I haven't even seen a photo of the killer. Then I thought to myself immediately, well, if the killer was white, we would know all about him. We would know what he looks like. There'd be a photo on there. So something's going on here, and this is what we know now. The headline at the New York Post is, by Craig McCarthy, suspect who smashed into barrier at U.S. Capitol identified as Noah Green. The driver who killed a U.S. Capitol cop before he was gunned down by police is a Nation of Islam devotee from Indiana, according to reports in his social media. Noah Green, 25, who may have been living in Virginia, described himself as, quote, a follower of Farrakhan, unquote, on his Facebook page in reference to Nation of Islam leader Louis Farrakhan. Green appeared to have come on hard times from his Facebook page reviewed by the Post before his account was taken down. Quote, I was on the right track and everything I had planned was coming into existence. It required long hours, lots of studying, and exercise to keep me balanced while experiencing an array of concerning symptoms along the path I believed to be side effects of drugs I was intaking unknowingly. He wrote on March 17, signing the message, Brother Noah X. Where the path has been thwarted, he wrote, as Allah has chosen me for other things. Throughout life, I have set goals, attained them, set higher ones, and then been required to sacrifice those things, he continued. His Facebook posts were first reported by MSNBC, which read them on air. Actually, I think they were first found by the Post-Millennial. Green allegedly slammed into a fence outside the U.S. Capitol just after 1 p.m. Friday, struck two officers before crashing into a barricade. He allegedly got out of the car with a knife and lunged at an officer before being fatally shot, reports say. And as I said, 18-year veteran William Evans died at the hospital. The Post-Millennial website. Breaking, police officer suspect died of injuries after U.S. Capitol attack. Suspect identified as Nation of Islam member Noah Green. Andy No, exclusive, the man who rammed a car into Capitol Police, killing one, has been identified as Noah Green. Green was armed with a large blade when he was shot. He identified as a follower of the Black Nationalist Nation of Islam movement. And it goes on. So for some of you, this may be the first time you're hearing this. MSNBC's Jesse Rodriguez tweeted, the suspect in the Capitol Police incident is a 25-year-old Indiana native who lived in Virginia. On his Facebook, he notes he's followed Nation of Islam's Farrakhan. So we do want to salute the MSNBC Jesse Rodriguez for reporting. Now, this is the thing. We had a mass murder in Atlanta, 8 individuals horribly killed, 6 of whom were Asian, and the president and the vice president who were down there exploited it as much as they possibly could. Called America systemically racist, systemically xenophobic. And it turns out it had nothing to do with race, according to the FBI director himself. Then we had another mass murder, 10 people murdered, in Boulder, Colorado, in a grocery store. I believe every one of them was white. And the killer, his ancestry is Syrian Muslim. And I don't think to this day most of the media have pointed that out. And then we have this attack today on 2 Capitol Police officers, one of whom is now dead. And the individual who attacked them is a young African-American gentleman who follows Farrakhan in the Nation of Islam. President Biden put out a statement. He never said a word about that. Never said a word about Farrakhan and his insightful speeches. INC, not INS. Did I do that right? No, it is INS. Inciting. Never a word. And so you have to ask yourself a question here. What are these politicians doing to this country? The things that they say and when they say them and the exploitation is really shocking. Absolutely shocking. This poor officer's dead. I keep hearing one reporter say, if the fence had been up and it had been pushed out, it wouldn't have happened today. Is that the story? We talked about incitement to have an insurrection. Incitement to an insurrection. I-N-C-I-T-E-M-T-E-M-A-N. Incitement, E-N-T. For an insurrection. They weren't armed, and they didn't kill any police officers. And by the way, I'm making no excuses, just for the liberal media out there. No, I've condemned this over and over and over again. I'm making no excuses, but I am making a point. But none of this is discussed when the shoe is on the other foot, whether it's Antifa or Black Lives Matter or what happened in Boulder or what's happened today. It really is grotesque. If the media were honest, they would report the way they always report, no matter who the people are, no matter their faith, no matter their backgrounds or ancestries, but they don't do that because they're corrupt. When we come back, I want to talk about Major League Baseball. It turns out, ladies and gentlemen, that the NBA, that the NFL, that the MLB, probably the others, have decided that the only fans they really care about and the only fans they really want are Democrats. They don't want Republicans. Because, you see, Republicans are racist. The Georgia State Legislature is racist. Donald Trump's no good. The Republicans are repressing, suppressing, oppressing, and they're preventing people from voting. So the Major League Baseball League has made a decision that they're throwing in with the most reckless, radical Democrats. And you Republicans, you suckers who are fans, you suckers who pay for their jerseys, you sucker who buy players' jerseys and go online, and you're going to be suckers forevermore. And so Major League Baseball decides we're moving out of Georgia. And they're moving out of Georgia for the All-Star game. They're moving out of Atlanta, which is a overwhelmingly majority black city. And all the jobs that they're going to affect. Because they want to be seen, you see, white liberals want to be seen as really down for the revolution. But don't worry, LeBron James agrees with them. LeBron James, who lives in white neighborhoods, has multi-million-dollar homes, multiple cars and everything, LeBron James agrees with them. He's glad this took place, Atlanta. All you folks in Atlanta who were going to work in that stadium, who were going to work on the All-Star game, Major League Baseball just screwed you, and LeBron James is pleased about it. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.